Hey guys, good morning. So I'm gonna go out to the garden and have a look around. So let me show you what my garden looks like. This section is my raised beds, and we have, in hill country, we have lots of deer, and so my husband built these little hoop tops. He screwed in PVC pipe and then we just wrapped it in chicken wire, and it's worked really well. So I'm hoping to be able to take these off because it does limit our vertical space. But in this bed we have our squashes and cucumbers. This is a beautiful squash blossom. Isn't it so pretty? This is a little cantaloupe patch. Sweet little blossom. Flowers. This is gonna be full of cantaloupe. This is my onion bed, and I have purple onion, white onion, and sweet. Really growing really big and really well. Hopefully they'll be ready to harvest here in the next few weeks. Now for these beds I have quite a bit of tomatoes. I put a potato bag, but then I also have some pinto beans, and the pinto beans were really fun because it was a little experiment that we had done with the little girls where we got just dried pinto beans from the pantry, and we put them in a plastic Ziploc bag and taped them to the window. And we were studying seeds that week, and we wanted to learn about how seeds sprout and grow into plants. Well, they just took off in the window. We decided to go ahead and plant them in the garden and just continue the experiment and see what would happen if they would continue to grow and how well. And these were just organic dried pinto beans from our pantry. So let me show you what they look like. And I just have this little trellis I happen to have from the dollar store actually. And if you look, we already have some sweet little beans growing.
Beans?
We have all these little beans, and these grew so fast. We didn't put these in the garden until just like a few weeks ago, and they're already huge with tons of beans. You pick all the beans?
I see one. Wow, that sounds really big.
In this bed we also have tomatoes. Now we've decided to plant a lot more tomatoes than this, so we actually have another bed that's going to go right next to this one that's going to be basically all tomatoes, and I may end up planting another one. I think I'm going to take out all these because I don't like them. They're always so difficult, so I think I'm just going to put stakes to stake them up and tie them up on. Okay, so on this one right here, do you see this little sprout like in the armpit of these good strong limbs? These are what you want to prune. And you just snap it right off. That one's a little tiny one, but you see, here's a better example. This is a big one. And you have a main stalk and a good side stalk, but you want to prune these out of the armpit, because what will happen if we don't prune our tomato plants is that they will waste a lot of energy on all these little tiny regions, and we want them to really focus on the big ones. We want them to focus on producing good fruit and growing bigger and bigger. There are some sweet tomato blossoms. It's important that you water your tomatoes if you don't have a drip system, at least from below. You don't really want to water them from above. That'll help keep the leaves dry, and it'll help them from getting yellow or catching diseases or stuff like that. So I need to put a lot more mulch in here. I just got a mulch delivery. So I'm going to be remulching this bed, and I will be pruning it up. Also this year I tried something new. I've never grown potatoes, ever. And so I was seeing all these YouTubers and all these great people were growing potatoes really easily. And I don't know about your family, but my southern Central Texas family eats a ton of potatoes. I thought I'd do a little bit experiment. So I just, instead of using beds to do it, I got 2 grow bags from Amazon. I thought they were going to be a lot bigger than they are. They're actually pretty small, I think. It's silly that I'm even using them. But in one bag I planted some from mine, just organic potatoes from the grocery store that set my pantry too long, and I let them sprout. In the other potato bag, they were from my nursery, sprouted ones that aren't supposed to get disease and grow well. And so let me show you the difference between those. So this is the first potato growing bag. Let me get out of my own shadow. This is the first potato growing bag, and it looks pretty good. There's some leaves that are kind of funky. On the inside, they have nice, good, wide stalks. It's growing beautifully. It's starting to bud. There's going to be some blossoms and flowers soon. And what I do like about these grow bags is they have a little Velcro flap. You can kind of see the integrity. Pretty decent. But if you compare it to the ones I grew from the grocery store, it's like a stark difference. I think these were like purple potatoes, so it could also just be the variety. But these potatoes look amazing. They just started to blossom and flower. There's tons of stalks that have come up in it, but they're growing really well. I think we're gonna have a lot of potatoes, and I'm excited because if this all goes well, then next year my husband said he will plant me a huge long 10-foot bed, and we will plant a ton of potatoes like this fall. So I'm really excited about that. Now this bed has been my lettuce bed, and if you can see, this is the last remnants of the romaine. I just had to harvest it because it was going to seed. Because what I do is I just trim off the lower leaves, and then it'll continue to grow up and grow new leaves. Now you can do that for quite a while. I haven't bought lettuce in months. It's been probably February, March, and April. I've just been getting lettuce from my garden, and I eat a ton of salad, so that's been huge. And I just trim it off the bottom. It continues to grow. This one is starting to get really hot, so the leaves are barely producing, and I'm afraid I'm gonna have to harvest that last one next. But when it goes to seed, you'll see it'll start sprouting at the top, and you have to just, it's kind of done its due diligence at that point. There's not a lot more you can get out of it because the leaves will start to get bitter, and it just doesn't taste as good. And it's a cool weather crop, so it's not gonna last in my Texas heat. In this bed, I'm waiting. My pepper plants are almost ready to transplant, so they're gonna go all over here. I don't remember why I have that there. I think that's a zucchini plant that a friend gave me. I have my parsley, oregano, and then this potato bin I had stuck in here because my dog kept digging into the bags, so I had to put it somewhere. But this year we tried strawberries for the first time, and they're growing super well. The little girls love to pick them. Let me see, show it to me. The strawberry plants are just so sweet. I do have some basil planted around my garden. It grows really well, and this will get huge. It can take over a whole area. I'm hoping to can for the first time this year. I haven't canned since I was a little girl helping my grandma in the kitchen, and really I don't remember most of it, and watching her. So it's going to be a learning process, but I did get some canning stuff yesterday I'm excited about. So I'm hoping to make a bunch of homemade canned marinara pasta sauce and some salsas. So we go through a lot of those things in my house. So this whole coronavirus pandemic, where we were going to the grocery stores and they were empty, and there was something really sobering about that, about taking our food security into our own hands. I've always been gardening these last few years, but I haven't really been putting stuff up in a way, you know. We've always had the store, you know, to fall back on. We're kind of in that mindset, like, yeah, we'll grow some tomatoes and slice them up, and it'll be fun, and we'll have a little garden. But I think there's a real disconnect between us and our food and where it comes from, and just how easy it is to grow. And it's just something really magical about putting seeds in the ground and loving it, watering it, fostering it, and watch it come to life and pay you back in huge dividends. It's so super exciting. I'm excited for the garden. I'm excited to really get this going. I really, really want to can, and I mean can a bunch. I want to fill up my pantry so that I have tomato products for the year. I don't know if that's going to happen because we get through that stuff pretty quickly, and I don't think I have planted or will plant that much. So we'll see. When I start doing my canning, I will record it because I'm sure it is going to be entertaining, if nothing else. Hopefully it'll be a lot of knowledge and we'll learn from it and it'll be awesome. But we'll see. So that's this morning garden run. I will take you, we did build a second garden area in our backyard space. This is kind of our side yard, but I did plant a bunch of beans over there, and so I'll take you to go see that. Okay, so back here, this is my teenager's flower garden. She's wanted to plant a bunch of flowers off the back porch, and this is kind of funny. Okay, so when I first put my potatoes in the garden bags, the planting growing bags, I put them in my backyard because this little area behind my house is fenced and the garden area isn't, so that's why I have to put growing lids over it. Well, my dog was digging through it. I came out here one day and my little potato pieces were all over the yard scattered, and he had dumped them over, and so that's when I decided to take the whole growing bag and put it straight into my raised beds. Well, then fast forward a couple weeks, I started noticing these plants growing in the backyard. Y'all, I thought I had gotten all the potato sprouts, and I did not. They are growing. There's random potato plants growing in my backyard. So now I have these beautiful potato plants. So it's kind of cool. They just started growing right out of the dirt. So we're going to wait, let them flower, and the plant will start to die, and then we'll just dig it up and we'll see if I get potatoes, a bunch of potatoes out of just the backyard dirt. We decided to plant blackberries, and my grandparents always had blackberries and boysenberries in their yard, and I've never grown them because they were just kind of wild along her fence line. Decided to just get a plant, see how it'll do, and it's going crazy well. Like, I should have planted this along a fence line somewhere. Definitely going to do more next year. I'm going to grow little berries, and it's so exciting. I'm hoping this will just be full of blooms and berries, and that we'll be able to make some jellies and jams this summer. So I decided to make an extra area to grow beans. So I made a teepee. We were trimming back cedar trees, and so I had a lot of these branches, and so I just decided, you know what, I'm gonna try this bean teepee that I've seen all over Pinterest. And I did. I just used a bunch of rocks that I found around my property, and I grew some beans. Now I have some scarlet runners that will make these beautiful red flowers as it goes up, and then I also have some butter bean. They're called multicolored butter bean, and they're basically like a speckled lima bean. We had some extra wood, so I made a little bed to butt up against it. And then I just have some really small, I don't know if you can see, but I have some small T-posts. Did a lean against a little bit the fence, and I planted a bunch of beans. Now for some reason, they're not really growing on this side, but they're doing so well on that side. So they will start, as you can see, these little snap peas. These are green beans and snap peas, and they will start vining up, and this whole section of fence will be covered, and it'll be really cool. There'll be a ton of beans. Now what I did just learn with beans, it's that way, and you kind of have like a bean planting rotation. It's really awesome because when you run out, you don't really run out. So the original ones will kind of get tired and done, and they'll be picked through, but then you have new ones coming right behind it that are producing, and then that one starts dying out, and you've got new ones coming in right behind that. So to do like the staggered planting with the beans has been a really great thing that I don't remember ever hearing before. And so I'm going to try that this year. I'm going to see, hopefully I'll have beans all summer, and I'm hoping to put a ton away in the freezer and also to can. But on this area, we are going to put another short little bed that's going to be for peppers. And then I'm going to do a really long bed, and I'm going to plant a whole thing of okra. They're huge. They can get up to like 7 feet tall. They have the most beautiful flowers. They're like a hibiscus flower.
We have so many beans. Mommy, we have See all these beans? Look at this. You want some?